Okay, Go Math, lesson 2-9. Today we're talking about dividing mixed numbers. So we've already looked at dividing fractions, and we know that we have three very important letters. Keep, change, flip, KCF, or keep, switch, flip, for those of you who enjoy that, left over from 5th grade. But keep, change, and flip it. Anytime we're dividing fractions, we need those three so that we can utilize our multiplicative inverse, right, our reciprocals, so that we can solve for the correct answer. So I'm going to start with a problem, say 1 1/4 divided by, whoops, let me clean that up there a little bit, divided by 2 1/3. Now, I can't just simply keep it, change it, flip it on this one because I've got whole numbers with my fractions. So we're dealing in mixed numbers now. So the first thing I have to do would be to utilize what we call the C method, which is turning my mixed numbers into improper fractions. Again, we are going to multiply the denominator by the whole number and then add the numerator. So I have 4 times 1, which is 4, plus 1, which is 5/4, 2 times 3 plus 1, again, C method around. 2 times 3, or 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7/3. What this problem is, 1 1/4 divided by 2 1/3, is actually 5/4 divided by 7/3. Now I have fractions that I can divide using my keep it, change it, flip it. So I'm going to keep my 5/4. I'm going to change division to multiplication, and then I'm going to flip 7/3 to 3/7. Keep it, change it, flip it. So now I have right here my multiplicative inverse of that. That's my reciprocal. And let me clean that up a little bit here for you. And now I have a problem I can solve. So the first thing that I like to do is to simplify, but I can't simplify anywhere here. Can't simplify 5 and 4, there's no common factors. No common factors for 3 and 7. No common factors for 5 and 7, and no common factors for 4 and 3. So I'm stuck. All I have left to do is just multiply. And you can see that this 1 1/4 divided by 2 1/3 seems to be a very difficult problem. Really breaks down to 5 times 3, which is 15, and 4 times 7, which is 28. Right? 15 28. Again, there are no common factors between 15 and 28, so I can't simplify anywhere. That's my answer. If I end up with an improper fraction, I want to turn it back into a mixed number. That's a certainty. And if I can simplify, of course, I want to. So let's look at one more option here. If I'm looking at 9 1/3 divided by 1 1/6. Well, just like we did with our decimals, and we've talked about several times in here, we want to estimate. I'm looking at 9 1/3, that's basically 9. And 1 1/6 would round to 1, so 9 divided by 1, my answer should be somewhere in the ballpark of 9. Where this is very handy is if you forget to flip. That's a common mistake. Some students just multiply straight across, and you get an issue there, right? So I'm going to take and clean up my shoulder mark here, and I'm going to take 9 1/3 divided by 1 1/6. I know my answer should be somewhere around 9 because I have my estimate. So I'm going to use the C method and turn this into 2 improper fractions. 3 times 9 being 27, plus 1 is 28/3. Still divided by 3, right? Because every fraction is a division problem. And I'm going to 6 times 1, which is 6, plus 1 is 7/6. Now, keep it, change it, flip it. So I'm going to take 28/3, and then I'm going to change division to multiplication. And I'm going to flip 7/6 to its reciprocal, 6/7. Now, I can simplify here. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 28 divided by 7 is 4. And I would multiply across, and I would get 8. 8/1, or 8, which is very close to 9. Now, for those of you who like to multiply and then simplify, I could find out 28 times 6 and then divide that by 21, and I'm still going to get 8 as my answer. So again, when you're dividing with mixed numbers, you want to turn your mixed numbers into an improper fraction, and then use your reciprocal through multiplicative inverse, those big phrases we like to talk about, and use your keep it, change it, flip it method to turn your improper fractions into your mixed numbers into improper fractions, and then divide. When you get to the end, if you have an improper fraction, you got to turn it back into a mixed number, and if you have something that can be simplified, you must simplify it.